Hi, Scorpio Sun and Rising. Welcome to your August 2025 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So, I'm going to talk about a couple of influences that are coming into, a few of them actually, that are coming into the month of August that are important to kind of like give you the context of how August begins, which will not be how it ends, because one of them is a Mercury retrograde, which begins in July and continues until August 11th and is officially out of its shadow on August 26th. So, Leo, this is in Leo, and the sun is also in Leo, by the way. And for Scorpio people, this is your 10th house of career. So you may find every August when the sun is there, and like at the beginning of August, and maybe personal planets are in Leo, that your career feels like very strong. You feel very ambitious. When you have the sun transing your 10th house, you feel very ambitious and you may be experiencing successes. But when Mercury retrograde is also there, you might be rethinking something that is connected to maybe the direction you want to go in. Something or any kind of plans with your career may be a little bit shaky at this time because of uncertainty. You're rethinking something. And like I said, Mercury comes out of its shadow on the 26th of the month. Mercury is very quick moving. So even when it retrogrades, it's not an influence that you have to deal with for too long. Although we do have like, I don't know, 3, sometimes 4 retrogrades in a year. And it does seem like it comes way too often. But it's always good to rethink things because it means you're putting effort into whatever it is that you're dealing with. You're not just on automatic, really thinking things through. So that's one thing that could be going on. And Mercury retrograde can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. So be very careful about your dealings with people in positions of authority, which can be the 10th house as well, because they may get misconstrued and that can lead to its own set of issues. The other thing that is happening is that Venus and Jupiter are in Cancer, and that's a fellow water sign, so it trines you. And Venus and Jupiter are already these benefic planets, so it's really great. This is coming from the 9th house, and the 9th house is Sagittarius's house in astrology. It's the house of long distance travel, anything that is expansive, expanding your mind, whether it's through university or through studying something like studying philosophy. But typically, we say this is the God house, and it is connected to the different religions, specifically, I would say organized religion. And so when, in terms of long distance travel, this might be a time when it is easy for you to manifest that. And with Venus here, you may even have a love that is a foreigner, somebody that you have met in a foreign country, or they are from a foreign country, a different nationality, a different race. So that is happening. On the 6th of the month, Mars goes into Libra. So you have Mars in your 12th house, Scorpio. Mars is a very active planet. So in the 12th, it's kind of like the 12th house can be a house of solitude. It can be a house of retreat. So I would say if there's anything active with that Venus and Jupiter influence, if you were planning on going on retreat, this might be the time when that really is happening. And I would say that it is a retreat, maybe even like a pilgrimage. If you were planning something like that, that would probably be absolutely perfect. Of course, and I have heard too that if there's a Mercury retrograde and you're traveling, that that's okay. It's just that you have to be open to maybe things changing a little bit, the plans, if you will. The 12th house can be hidden enemies, and Mars can have that aggressive connotation. Um, so to me, this is anybody who is working against you from behind the scenes. This could be in the workplace, either a supervisor or coworkers who they may even smile to your face and be working against your best interests. But on your end, you may be doing that in a positive way. Like if you have some kind of goals, Scorpio, you may be working behind the scenes and not necessarily announcing to everybody what your plans are. And when the time is right, you will reveal them. On the 9th, we have a full moon at 17 degrees of Aquarius. So Aquarius is a fellow fixed sign, and this is ahead of you. So this is going to be in the 4th house of home and family. This full moon in the 4th house, it is, 4th house is Cancer's domain in astrology. So it's a water house. And so it does deal with emotions. It can deal with our past, it can deal with our mother. Some say the father, but it can deal with the past. And a full moon can be about letting go of the past. It may be hard for Scorpios to do this because you're a fixed water sign. So your emotions are like fairly cemented in place. And that includes what has occurred before. I think a lot of Scorpio people struggle with forgiveness issues because they can, especially it's so funny about Scorpio and Libra because they can have, I'm talking about sun sign Scorpios and sun sign Libras because they can have the Scorpio and the Libra influence since they're next to each other. So you might have somebody who has a sun in Scorpio and they have Mars in Libra in their natal chart. I'm talking about I know you have Mars in your as a transit, but you might have it in your natal. You might have natal Mars in Libra. And you may be the kind of person that believes in fairness. And if you were done wrong by somebody in your past, and they're just going on their merry way, and you don't feel like they've been smacked by the karma fairy at all, you may feel like life is unfair. They should be paying the price for what they did. And this is about, this full moon in the 4th house can be about letting go, even if X, Y, or Z happened. It can also be about insight into the past. Maybe you've been operating in a certain way that might even be a bit self-destructive because of the past, and you're able to see that, make that, connect those dots, and maybe actually not have to deal with that in the future, because you're really understanding how important it is to be open to change and not just to think that you have to stay the same in life. This can actually be your home base. So you might be letting go of a house or an apartment that you have. and moving on to something else. Maybe you know now that you are going to move if you were a little bit on the fence. Something could be ending with your domestic situation, in other words. Um, since this could be the mother or the father, one of the parents, you could find out something about them. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Virgo, and a day later, we have the new moon going into Virgo. So we have these transits in your 11th house of friendships and groups, your long range goals like your hopes and wishes, but also your gains. The new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo is a black moon, which is even more potent for manifestation. You're also going to have a second new moon that is happening on September 21st, and it's going to be a solar eclipse, so it's powerful for that reason. So there is something about your social network, the money that you're earning that could be greatly impacted in the next couple of months. So matter of fact, the eclipse energy could even be felt in August, so it might be in this area. So keep that in mind, Scorpio, and really be intentional about what it is that you want to manifest this way. Maybe you've thought that you had to settle for a certain salary, and you could actually double it in very short time simply by making up your mind that this is what you are intending. And yeah, I mean, for some people, it can feel like, how do I do this? Or is this even possible? But you may find that this is something that you're able to step into. On the 25th, Venus goes into Leo. So Venus goes into your 10th house of career. This is wonderful because Venus can give you a certain charm so that people in positions of authority want to help you. It can give them, you could be getting favors, you could get a raise, and certainly that would go along with that black moon in the 11th house. And the day after this, on the 26th, the Mercury comes out of its shadow. So because it was in Leo, it was in that career sector. So it feels like everything is coming online career-wise for you towards the end of August, Scorpio, if you felt any kind of hiccup, any kind of delay. All right, so that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I am promoting my double readings called my deep dive readings. I have other combination readings. The deep dive reading is an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months for a special price, because I do offer those readings separately. Sometimes people don't care about transits. They just want a chart analysis, and vice versa. Some people just want transit, so I do offer those separately. But for those who would like both, I offer them at a discounted price if you buy them together as the deep dive reading. And if you like the tarot as well, I do all three of those readings, and that is called the whole enchilada. I do career readings, love readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.